Welcome back to the Alan Nathan Show by Soker Joe Show co-host Joe. I've been filling in this hour for Alan, and I am here with our current guest, Bruce Torres. He is Director of Communications at the American Small Business League and the Don't Cheat Women Project. Bruce Torres, happy to have the show. How are you today?
I'm great, Joseph. Great to meet you.
Yep, nice to meet you, too. And I'm tying this in. We were talking a little bit about China in an earlier segment now, and how the tariff war between them and the U.S. might go. And right now it looks like there is some hope, because there is a plan for the U.S. and China to hold talks in Geneva this coming weekend.
Yes, and isn't that great news? Because the world needs the U.S. to stabilize what it's doing for tariffs. Let me tell you the lens that we look at things and then answer all your questions. At the American Small Business League, ASBL.com, we are singularly focused on making sure that federal contracts that are supposed to go to small businesses, Joseph, do not go to big businesses. And over the past many decades, billions of dollars in contracts every year go to big businesses that should not, due to problems at the SBA. The SBA needs to be reformed, greatly expanded, because when small businesses get the full 23% of federal contracts that they are supposed to, last point, they will create an additional 2 million jobs every year to perform those contracts, on top of the 2 million new jobs America typically produces. Learn all about it at ASBL.com. We're watching the tariff situation and what President Trump is doing very, very closely. So, as you saw in the news, it's good news that they're going to talk this weekend about how to talk about solutions and ending what is being referred to as really a trade war.
Yeah, and this shows that I guess either China or the U.S. sort of blinked in the trade war, although my money's on China for that one, given how they have an export-based economy. But how would that impact small business, though? I would think that China flooding the market with cheap goods, picked up by big businesses like Walmart, for example, and Amazon, would negatively impact small businesses.
Well, and also with high tariffs on what they manufacture, what we need from them raises the cost of doing business for our small businesses. And, Joseph, most people don't know that 99.9% of all businesses in America are small businesses with less than 500 employees. 98% have less than 100 employees. So we desperately need what China's manufacturing, because over the last 50 years, we've let our manufacturing dwindle. We still do some, but we need to have a harmonious relationship with China about this, while it seems the administration wants to reindustrialize the United States, which would go far to creating our strength and economic well-being and our ability to fend for ourselves. We have a big problem with globalization in terms of how it has fundamentally weakened our country, and anything that can be done to re-strengthen us is a great thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and hopefully when we renegotiate with China, it won't just be more of the same of what we've had for the last 25 years.
Yes, and that's why it's fascinating to have Donald Trump as president, because there are very, very smart people who think that he is a brilliant man playing a long-term strategy that's going to blow us away with its goodness for us. And there's many, many smart people who think he is fascism incarnate. And when you look at their arguments on both sides, you just have to wake up every morning and turn on the news to find out what's going on now and what are people making out of it, because you can make a case on both sides. And, you have to be optimistic. That's part of being an American, but it's also part of being an adult, being responsible for generating optimism going forward.
I guess so. Although you did mention something I want to get to, how there's supposed to be 23% going to small businesses, even though that's 99.9% of the businesses in the U.S., but that 23% doesn't get to them. Is that mandated by law? Are you being legally denied something you're supposed to get? What's the recourse?
Yes, the Small Business Administration is responsible for steering 23%, making sure that all federal contracts through all the agencies of the federal government steer 23% of their contracts to small businesses. The problem we have found over 30 years, and Congress has found, and the SBA Inspector General has found, that through lack of oversight, fraud, bad policies, and loopholes, every year the SBA declares, we did it. In fact, we gave more than 23% to small businesses. But we're going to say a lie. It's falsely declaring compliance, because in reality, big businesses get up to 97% of the contracts, and small businesses might get as little as 3% due to all kinds of labeling and obfuscations and, like I say, regulations and rules on the books that the mainstream doesn't pick up on. We're in the business of exposing that. ASBL.com. We've got the history of our 100-plus legal battles, the congressional investigations, Joseph, that do show, oh, my God, billions every year are going to big companies that do not create new jobs to perform the contracts, starving our small businesses and our middle class.
Well, with the latest administration being the Trump administration, have you seen any sign that they might take up your cause here?
No, unfortunately, we see even scarier signs in the opposite direction. The SBA just got accused of mismanaging about $600 million in loans, and it had its staff cut 43%, which will reduce its budget to one of the smallest. It serves 99.9% of our businesses. It should have the biggest budget. But worse, it's scheduled to become responsible for $1.6 trillion in the student loans. It can't handle $600 million. We think it's being set up to fail.
I'll have to have you back on to talk more about that as things develop with that. But Bruce Torres, appreciate you being on the show. And once again, where can our listeners find out more about the American Small Business League?
ASBL, Apple, Sally, Bruce, Larry.com.
All right, listeners, you can go check them out. We're done with you for this hour of the program, and our websites are MainStreetRadioNetwork.com and AlanNathan.com. Be seeing you.